What makes a good bicep exercise? I believe it's a full stretch of the muscle and a big range of motion and ability to do progressive overload safely. That said, let's start with bicep push-ups. A very famous exercise at the calisthenics camp. The only thing I felt doing this exercise was my wrist hating me. Zero tension on the biceps and absolutely no reason to do this to grow it. F tier for this one. Next exercise is called waiter's curls. Not really sure if waiters do curls, but this one is really terrible in the range of motion. You can't fully extend your arms all the way down unless you soften your wrist, so you'll not be able to use a lot of weight here. Way better than the bicep push-ups, but still F tier for this one. Now for some controversy. Concentration curls. I know it's a very popular exercise. I see people do it all the time in the gym, but it has quite a lot of issues. Starting with no range of motion, no matter where you put your elbows. You can't really squeeze all the way to the top, and it's so easy to just cheat on it. So D tier for that one. Next up is zottman or zottman curls. Not sure if it's German, but that's what it's called. Even though it's a good exercise, it's just not a good bicep exercise in my opinion. It's only good for the biceps going up, but going down is not a bicep exercise. It's a brachialis and rest exercise. Better than the concentration curls, but still D tier. Moving up the ladder a bit here, we have the preacher curls. This comes in many flavors. You can do this on the machine, you can do it on the bench using a dumbbell, or my favorite version, using cables. It's a fine exercise, but it can be very risky. Since it's a bit heavy on the lengthened position, and because of how your arm is positioned, it can lead to a bicep tear if you're not careful. So I would avoid this if you're new to lifting. So C tier for this one. Another popular exercise I see all the time in the gym is overhead cable curls. I find that the range of motion is a bit lacking, but still fixable. If you angle your arm a bit inside towards your face, you can maybe get more range of motion, but overall the range of motion is quite low. That's why it's in the top of the C tier. Next up is the drag curls, very good for the long head of the biceps. Here you don't really need too much weight, and it's probably the best exercise to add a pause at the top for some added intensity. It feels great and the range of motion is solid, so B tier for this one. What I like more is cable curls. This is one of the exercises that you can really squeeze and pause at the top. It's a bit bottom heavy, meaning the weight is the heaviest at the lengthened position. That's why it's important to go down slow and don't drop the weight. That's like doing half rep. One caveat for this exercise is that some people might have elbow pain. If you have tennis elbow, I wouldn't recommend doing this exercise, but still an amazing B tier exercise. I have been avoiding the spider curl for a long time. To be honest, they seemed like a stupid exercise to me until I tried them. They are kind of like a better version of the concentration curls. It has way better range of motion because there is nothing in the path of the dumbbell. The only reason it's not ranking high is because the setup is really a bit annoying, but still a solid B tier exercise. Another wonky setup exercise is seated behind the back bicep curls. The best thing about this is that you can stretch your biceps all the way back, and this gives you a really nice stretch and an insane range of motion. And doing it seated eliminates all the momentum, so it's all concentrated on your biceps. Solid A tier exercise. Now we are onto the heavy stuff. Easy bar curls. Probably the most intense bicep exercise. Amazing range of motion and quite simple to progress in. If you want to make it even more intense, you can lean on a wall and this will eliminate all the momentum. Warning though, it's very intense. Solid A tier exercise. In my opinion, an even better version of this is the dumbbell curls. The only thing that this does better than the easy bar is the flexibility of movement. You are not restricted by the bar path. This gives you even more range of motion and more options to squeeze more at the top or twist your wrist a bit to get more brachialis if you want. One of my favorite exercises and a solid A tier exercise. To make it even more intense, it's all about intensity guys. Especially when training biceps, it really needs intensity over weights. And nothing does this better than the incline dumbbell curls. This eliminates all the momentum and gives you even more range of motion because your arm is positioned a bit to the back so the path is longer and the muscle under tension is higher. Next up is my top favorite bicep exercise, behind the back single arm cable curls. This one is similar to the seated one, but I rate this higher because of how easy it is to set up and get going. Amazing range of motion and it's so easy to keep adding weight. I would recommend you squeeze all the way up and slowly go down. Really slowly and stretch back as far as you can without any pain. I usually don't include this in my programs just because it takes a bit more time since it's a single arm exercise, but otherwise I would choose it every time. My top S tier exercise. And this has been my bicep tier list. Click here to check out my other tier lists. Thanks for watching and I will see you there.